So guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we have, well, a revisit actually with the owner. I actually drove this car last year, but this time I wanted to get you on film, mate. So could you introduce yourself and your car?
I'm Andy Kendrick, and this is my Escort Cosworth M6W.
Love the number plate. It's so good, isn't it?
Not a private plate, as far as I can see. It's been with it all its life.
Oh wow!
Back to what I was saying about the Top Gear thing.
Yeah, you did just say
the number
this.
plate back in '96. So at that stage, she'd only been 2 years old.
Yeah.
And it was wearing the number plate there. So
on Top Gear. So
on
this
Top Gear.
has been on Top Gear.
Had about 30 seconds of fame. But
Really?
Yeah.
It was when they were saying about the death of the Cosworth, wasn't
That's right, yeah.
So relatively famous in that, right?
Yeah,
I'd say so.
Yeah,
Many years ago.
It's had its moment of fame. Everybody likes the 30 seconds.
Yeah, that's it. But it's not a standard car, is it?
No, it's a little bit off standard.
Yeah, so we will start because the engine bay is open. The visual bits we can see.
Different turbo, yeah. Original T4 roller bearing, but the proper RS500 T4 turbo. Matched inlet manifold, RS500 inlet manifold. Working down, cams, ported head, standard stuff. Worked bottom end. It's the small turbo in theory engine.
Small turbo.
Small turbo. That sort of, it's got old and got fat.
It's got bigger. Yeah.
Running again older management. It's on the L8 management because it was just what was easier for people to map back in the day.
Yeah.
So it is actually still running a distributor at the moment, but it works and it does what it needs to do. It's around the 500 mark.
500.
Yeah.
So 500 horsepower, which is double the factory figures,
and then a little
pretty
bit,
much, and some more. Visually though, it looks so good. Moret headlights,
the later crystal ones,
which just like set off a car like this, in my opinion.
I think they're the perfect light for the Escort.
Yes,
Moret's what suits certain cars, and the Escort I think is the one that they were made to fit, basically.
I would probably agree with that too, but you know, up to discussion in the comments as usual.
There will always be discussions. Slightly fogged side lights, the RS500 grills, mainly because it did have the fog lights in. One's got a crack in, and they're a bit cloudy because they're 30 odd years old, so I think the grills make them look a bit more aggressive.
Oh yeah.
I went back to the ambers as a personal choice because I just prefer the ambers to clears.
I'm an amber guy, so
yeah.
I agree.
So from the point of view there, carbon front splitter, mainly because you can get the original Ford ones that have been remade, but they're 1,600 quid now.
1,600
quid for the two sides and the bit at the bottom. So and they're not actually Ford, they're made by some guy in a factory in Italy.
1,600, right. Cosworth tax, RS tax, it is very apparent.
Tax.
Yeah, so you've had a few of these in the past. This is your, what?
This is my second Escort, but I've had 3-door, couple of SAFs.
Yeah.
Had a 3-door that was running a full RS500 lump, that was 500 horse.
Oh wow.
Me original Escort I had ended up at about 560. That was a fairly well-known one because I did various shoots with it in the back in the day, sort of when the magazines were big, Fast Forward and Performance Ford. Spent a lot of time with them at Buntingthorpe. Yeah. Breaking it.
Giving it the big spuds.
Yeah, breaking it. I was well known for gearbox, and there's a long history of snapping drive shafts and prop shafts because it put the power down well on a GT30.
Yeah. So that does take me on to this one having straight cut gears.
Semi-straight.
Semi-straight.
The other one had straight, and do you know what? They sound brilliant for about half an hour.
Yeah.
You sit on a motorway at 80 mile an hour, and
that noise
just gets a bit much. So this is semi-straight, so you can actually still talk in the car.
Yeah, that's always good.
Thick wall front diff with ATB in the front. ATB, and it's got a full 3-door rear beam at the back with a 7.5-inch diff. Just they're a little bit stronger than the 7-inch diffs. There's not a lot in it. They still brake, but a little bit stronger. And the rear beam is modified to be 6 degrees, so you can get the better camber adjustments on it. And then it's got gas gold coilovers on it, and poly bushed, and your normal stuff.
All the
around
good stuff.
it. The normal stuff, just to stop it being quite so squidgy on the road, because if you've ever driven one standard, they are squidgy on the road.
Oh yeah, and they lean a lot, and
they roll and everything else, so it's just kind of modernised slightly.
We'll come round to wheels, because Well, I think these wheels suit this car so well.
Yeah.
If you put anything other than that on it, it would look weird. But behind the wheels, huge brakes. What sizes are they?
They are 360s with 8-pot calipers at the front.
8-pot calipers.
8-pot calipers. Did I need 8-pot calipers? No. Did they look really good behind the wheels?
Yes. That's the spirit.
When I bought it was wearing 4-pot APs, which stopped perfectly well.
Yeah.
But they didn't fill the wheel quite like that.
Yeah. I agree with that.
And then sort of to make the back lock not quite so daft, so it's got 330s on the back and 4-pots on the back.
So it does actually fill the wheel, because you can see through the wheel so well on this.
With the built-in, because the high-spec ones have got a built-in handbrake on them. Not the best handbrake in the world, but it passes an MOT.
Oh, that's fine then, doesn't matter.
1 in 4 gradient, I'd put the chocks. If you notice in the boot, there was a set of rubber chocks. On a really steep hill, I'd chock it as
just
well.
in case.
Just in case moment. I don't want to come out and find it parked somewhere else.
In someone's garden.
Yeah.
Back of the car, they're relatively stock?
Nomad rear lights, which are just the smoked rear lights. Carbon fibre badging, which is custom from David XYZ. And just a carbon fibre heat shield on the bumper, because the exhaust love melting the bumpers.
Yeah, they do, don't they? They've got a lot of pop and bang in the background. Sorry about that, everyone.
So no, apart from that at the back, she's fairly standard.
Yeah.
There's not really much you need to change to that arse.
No, because the spoiler, rear, but everything is just how it should be.
There's certain bums you don't mess with.
Yeah, and that's one of them. Yeah. Oh my god, the brakes are so good. Oh, do you know what it is? The surge of power is the most exciting part here, isn't it?
It's the way it delivers the power. It's old school, it's T4. So it's a bit nothing.
Everything!
Have it all at once.
Yeah. But I like that, and that's why people like Cosworth so much. It is like that build-up of such an exciting boost coming, like it's coming, oh my god, like that.
It's an event.
Yes.
When the boost comes in, it's an event.
Yeah.
It's not like a modern car. I've got a Focus RS Mark III at home, which is my Daler.
Yeah.
Well, mainly my Mrs. Daler. And don't get me wrong, on the country roads, that's probably faster than this, because four-wheel drive, four-wheel steer and all active
new age.
But it doesn't actually, there's no eventing driving it.
No.
Whereas this, you hear the noise coming and you're like, oh, something's coming.
Oh, something's happening in it, and then, and then it shoves your head in the seat and you're like, oh my god. Yeah. But that's what these cars were about back then when they were coming out, let alone now. Like you're talking about driving a new car versus this, it couldn't be any night and day for tries.
Completely different. This is a bit noisy. I mean, I've tried to keep it the best road car that I can.
Yeah.
But there's certain things that I've got to be compromised. Got a twin plate clutch. You can hear the gearbox because it's a semi-straight cut gearbox.
But that sounds old school to me, and like that's such a cool sound.
ATBs front and rear, solid rear beam mounts, and a very heavy rear diff mount on the back end wandering around, so you get a lot of noise from the diffs.
Yeah.
There's only so far I can go with that. It's all got additional sound deadening in, and I've got the Apple CarPlay, and I've got speakers. And it actually works quite well, as long as I'm not kicking its head in, people can hear me.
Oh, yeah, that's right then. You're like, yeah, sorry mate, I'm just on the phone sending my Cosworth down the road. Yeah, like that.
Yeah,
so how long have you had this?
I've had this one 3.5 years.
Oh, right.
The first Escort I had, which happened to be another Mallard, I didn't go out intentionally to copy the car.
Yeah.
I had back in the early noughties, sort of 2003, 2004.
When they were worth 20 grand?
I paid 15 grand for that, and that was completely standard.
Yeah.
50,000 miles. I think it got 2 owners on it from new at that point. So now that would have been 70, 80 grand car, but that was completely bog standard for a while. Then I blew my first gearbox up. Then I met somebody that did a bit of tuning. Then it's like, oh, we'll just give it a little bit more power.
Yeah.
And that was the small turbo that you couldn't really tune. So then all of a sudden it went management and ended up with a GT30 on it, and that was doing 560 yours.
Oh wow. It feels again OEM plus, where you're going for something that maybe from the factory you could have gone